Welcome to episode 11 of Primary Target. I'm Who the Fuck, joined by my co-host Vargren and our special guest again, Koffee Break. Coffee, welcome to the show again.
Hello.
Hey, what up, boys?
Today we're talking about a few different topics. Right off the bat, we're going to talk about Niarja. Big news in New Eden. Niarja is under Triglavian invasion. It's reached, I think, final liminality, which means it's like, basically a nullsec system. Niarja, in case you don't know, is a bottleneck system in highsec for trade routes leading in and out of Jeddah.
It's the route from Mamar to Jita, right? I
Yeah,
mean, even I know that. That's
Yes.
that's the level of common that this place gets traveled. If you've
And
ever
it's-
gone from Mamar to Jita, it's like 10 jumps, and that's right in the fucking middle somewhere.
It's such a bottleneck that like the route to go around if you want to stay in highsec is like 45 jumps. So it was like 9 jumps before. Now it's 45 to go from Omar to Jeddah. Yeah.
That's right.
That's
Stay in
got to be
highsec.
disruptive.
Yeah.
That's got to be disruptive for
Ooh,
those
boy, is
high-tech
it.
boys.
And apparently the same thing is in danger of happening to Udama right now, which is a bottleneck from many other places into Jeddah. So like it's not going to happen to Udama per se, but I think there's a system that's right next to Udama that's also a bottleneck that I guess there's under Triglavian invasion right now, and it looks like that might end up being go the way of the Triglavian, go the way of
Is
the
that happening?
Triglav.
Check the agency here.
What was that, Coffee?
I forgot if it was like actually happening right now, or if it's just like one of the candidate stars for.
I think it's one of the
liminality.
candidate stars, but I think it's also under like. I think it might be under invasion right now. I could be wrong.
No, not right now, but I think it's candidate. But yeah,
Okay, because it's what is it? Blue and yellow stars? Is that right?
yeah, with the little schmutz in between. But those are the ones that are final liminality candidates that could like be
Gotcha.
permanently converted. Well, permanently as far as we know, Triglavian.
So like, before this, there was one main trade hub and one secondary trade hub. The main hub being Jeddah, the secondary being Amar. But now that Amar is cut off from Jeddah, what do you guys think is going to happen to like the high sec trade hub balance? I guess.
I mean, like I can remember when I started playing the game, and like Jita's always been the big one, but Amar, though Dixie and Heck and Ren's, I think like Heck and Ren's have this weird Mimitar thing where it's kind
beautiful.
of both slightly,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
in that chaotic way that the Mimitar seem to exist.
Yeah.
And I love it because I'm Mimitar through and through. But yeah, the kind of I mean, I'm kind of hoping that it'll go back to kind of separating things out a little bit more. It allows for kind of like a kind of people to kind of make an early living in the game in trading between the big trade hubs, and especially if the routes become even more dangerous now, it's kind of like even more impetus. So you can be that kind of cool smuggler guy, running your little Han Solo power trip and buying low from Mimitar space and selling it to the Godbotherers over in a Mars space for a massively inflated price because you went some sneaky little backwards route. So I'm all for it. I'm all for anything that breaks up the monotony of what high tech existence can be. And some people play it for the monotony, and
Yeah.
like I don't understand those people at all. But if that's the game that you pay for, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But I also think it's space. It should be dangerous. It should be dangerous. It should be dynamic. The more kind of changes and unplanned events that we see in Eve, the more fun it is. So I think it's great. Let's
Coffee,
keep
what
it
do you
going.
think?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool. I think there's like a cultural shift in how the highsec calling works. There's that one cool Reddit post that I just linked to you in Discord that you might want to link later or something from some, random highsec caller guy talking about his take on it. And like, it's kind of cool that like this is shaking it up. Like this is the one that shakes up, the major, most influential trade route, the 9 jumps between Amara and Jeddah. And like public contracting is generally like $1 million per bill in collateral in cargo per jump. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you have like 2 bill collateral, it's 2 million per jump or something like that.
Right.
But for like the public hauling, that's kind of like how most stuff moves around in highsec, and it kind of shifts that up because now it's not 9 jumps to Mar and Jeddah, it's really like 45 if you're going by the old standard of like highsec all the way through. And for freighters and bigger stuff, that's the only option. And right now you can't even get a DST through Yarja because there's so many wrecks on the gate that like you can't even cloak trick through the way out. So it's really kind of cool how that's shaking up like the public contracting system. I think there's enough intrepid people that are trying to run it right now that are getting screwed over by the gate camps and everything. But yeah, I don't know how it'll shake up. It's kind of cool. And for us, like too, like our little like corp and our T3 production chain, like this opens up like different hubs. We can become major producers in like one of the secondary, tertiary hubs, rather than just going
make Rens great again.
Exactly. Yeah, like get the good stuff. Like I'm kind of excited by seeing the prospect of what happens with if market stuff moves to more regional trade, or
that's what I'm hoping for. I hope that it moves to more regional trade and it's not super centralized like it always, it became so centralized those two hubs that the other hubs sort of just died off.
Exactly.
And I'm hoping that doesn't. I'm hoping the reverse happens now, that the other hubs see life breathe into them again.
Yeah, and I'm still trading mostly in like Jita, but like I saw passing through Amar that like there's about double what I had seen previously. People logged in like since a couple of weeks ago. Like I don't know what that means for the actual market volume, but something's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Something's
also, there's another fun one that that highsec hauler that he posted. That Bay is a prospective system for BEI. It's in I think Metropolis, on the border between Synclason and Metropolis. So disconnect Minmatar and Galant space in like a major way, similar to how Niarja did that. And if that one just went never mind. That one just went to Edencom, but it all fired up like the same prospect, and that would really wildly have destroyed basically every trade group. Like it's gonna be totally segmented highsec. It can happen. It's happening.
Phenomenal. Let bring it on. I actually think that would be such a cool idea if you had to cross some kind of low sec in order to move between the empires. Which in many ways makes a lot of sense if you think about it. It's like those border regions are going to be less protected. There's going to be frictions. There's going to be less security there and more armed forces. And that's kind of, where the various kind of militaries fit in. These guys who fight for faction warfare. That seems like a nice opportunity. So, I don't know. I think it'd be really cool. Also, as you both know, I forever keep my finger like pressed to the pulse of what the fuck is going on in EVE Online. Don't laugh.
Yeah, right.
So to run something by me here, because I'm so out of the loop on this highsec Triglavian thing. So is Niarja, is it gonna stay nullsec? Is it kind of like this faux nullsec forever, or will the Triglavians get bored and wander off and chase a butterfly or something at some point?
From everything we've seen, it will stay faux sec. Yeah, it'll stay faux.
Oh, I like that.
Nullsec.
Yeah.
Faux nullsec forever.
That's right.
Okay.
So the developments happen.
Lasting consequences. Lasting consequences here.
The Triglavians at this point are essentially like this an instrument of the devs, right? It is basically the devs saying like the Triglavians are going to attack here. We're going to cut off this big trade route and we're going to see what happens and shake it up a bit. Is that kind of like generally what's happening, or is there like some randomly generated system behind it? Do we even know?
The system for it is that like certain stars of certain systems in highsec are the ones that are candidates for Triglavian invasion, because they do this sun bleeding thing for some superpowered world arc something that we don't know what that gets into. But like certain suns can make the isogen, I think, according to the lore, that makes that possible. I'm not well read on it, but I think that's the current scheme of it. So there is like a system to it, like of candidate systems and ones that are not.
But whether or not it's manually like selected by the devs or it's like an RNG type thing, I don't think we know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, I mean, because I feel like Niarja is like, I mean, if that's happened randomly, that it's just so happened to choose like one of the key systems on the route between these two incredibly important and frequently traveled trade hubs. Like, I mean, first of all, what are the odds? And second of all, I don't believe you. Like, I feel like some CCP dev went there. That would be hilarious. Let's do that. And I applaud that decision. Well done, CCP. Let's keep making choices like this.
Yeah. And to be fair, Niarja was also influenced by like null blocks and the actual fighting for like switching it over. I guess like PvE race and switching it over. That like they supported Triglavians in that. And Edencom has actually shaped up their game a lot, and since like I had first started fighting against them, because I'm just the random guy who's not attached to highsec in any way. Like I'm one of those guys influencing it. But Edencom is made of primarily like the highsec people, like the actual people that live there and like care about it and make their way throughout highsec. So they're actually getting organized and doing a lot better. Like they're a capable group right now. So like taking them off on the Arja. Right? Exactly. Yeah. And it used to be just a random bunch of PvE guys, but they're like they're getting organized. They're a capable group.
So let's segue somehow.
Yeah.
So
abrupt shift.
Yeah, abrupt shifts. The Arja won war, and let's talk about the nullsec war.
Yay. I don't know what's going on. I know
we've all paid very
on it.
I know we've all paid very close attention.
The massive spin fest that is the current war, which I still insist on calling the nip slip, which I think is by far the best name for it. This World War B shit is just terrible. World War B2, come on.
I watched about
garbage name.
I watched about 5 minutes of Matani's show called The Meta Show. And that guy takes himself really seriously. He takes himself super serious. Like
I saw the angry rant against Brave. That was
yes.
All the things.
It just seemed a little weird because it's like threatening Brave with all your jump bridges are going to be down. You're going to have all the assistants camped. It's like that's
normal.
That's been Brave's life for the last forever.
What? Nothing.
I think it's funny.
Never had function. Yeah.
Here's what I think. I think that in the beginning, he's like, we're not going to go after Brave. We're going after Test Alliance. Please ignore. This is going to be a hell war. We're going to. I don't care about Brave. I care about Test Alliance. Please ignore. Right? And now that he's getting his shit kicked in, he's like, you know what? I heard Brave was talking some shit. We're going after Brave.
Right.
We're going after Brave now. It's like,
yeah, right.
That's weird because you didn't want to before, but now you want to go after. Okay, whatever. Right. There's some sort of where's this counter at? There's a counter. Someone's keeping track of all the jackdaws that goons have lost so far in the war.
Oh, that's right.
Goon jackdaw counter. You guys talk a lot, like I said.
Yeah, no, I always
pressure.
Whenever someone's trying to kick the puppy that is Brave in forever a puppy. That's like part of the appeal of having the Brave ticker. It's like when PL was camping the shit out of Brave and Cloud Ring, or before then, what was even before then? Before Barley Good? No, after Barley Good was Catch 1.0, the evac from that. I wasn't in Brave at that time, but when PL, evidently the best group in the game, is just trying to prove something by beating up on these kind of cute little And Dunk is just navigating it beautifully
for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well. There's been some real impressive hate levels between PL and Brave over the years. Certainly, around.
And everyone just kind of rolled their eyes at PL. They're just like, okay, I mean, I understand trying to do content thing, but come on, at a certain point,
yeah.
I don't see that being that. I think it's all her flair right now.
The other side of this as well is I have such fantastic memories of being in Brave and fighting goons. If you're coming from this kind of, we're going to come for you, Brave. It's on. We're going to come for your jump bridges and your structures. And we're coming to catch and all the rest of it. And I would just were I still in Brave, I would absolutely applaud that attitude, and I would be like, that's fantastic. One of the big downsides to this was that Brave, the fun that is Brave Catch Standing, where you're just running around fighting random stuff all day, essentially completely ends when you're blue to almost everybody and just fighting the goons, and they're fighting a very defensive war, because it means catch is mostly just empty and kind of boring.
But now goons have said they're bringing content to catch again. Yeah, so that's great.
It's fantastic. Yeah, this is why you join Brave. It's the reason for being. So that's crazy stuff.
I linked the website.
Did you find your jackdaw counter?
Yeah, it's called goonsnackdaws.rip. It's hilarious.
That's very nice.
Goons have fed 3,381 jackdaws since the start of the war. They feed about 61 per day. They have gone 3 hours without feeding one.
I love that.
There's a chart and everything's so good.
And there's a
Outstanding.
little picture of PGL just snacking on a jackdaw at the top as well. That's marvelous. It's just good.
That's good.
Well done. Whoever made this website, you've done excellent work there. But yeah, like the war at the moment feels like, I mean, you watch Floodplain Fountain Fall, which was, I'm sure, predictable for both sides. It was unrealistic that they were going to hold it, and Fountain was never really kind of like heavily invested in area, with the exception of like that little pocket that in it lived in, which was always a nightmare to roam to because they always took it way too seriously.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, and they would you'd go in there because there was like one entrance system, and then by the time you'd done a little loop round and spooked some of their rorquals, they'd have like an entire cat fleet waiting for you on the out gate, and you'd just be like, "Oh, come on, guys! It's just, we're in Caracals. Let's just have fun, shall we?"
We'll show them.
Yeah. They take it a bit seriously, but that's fine. But yeah, the rest of Fountain was like a wasteland, essentially. Like I think they had some renters installed in there or some shit. Like no one cared about it. No one ever used to fight about it. There'd just be like, you know, some random ratters dicking about or someone scanning down a site or some nonsense. But you know, other than that, it's always very quiet. So it really has, the first half of this war, the first 2 months, has it been 2-3 months of the war?
Yeah.
I've essentially just been, you know, dealing with the grueling slog of CCP's idea behind what conquering Sov should be now, which is not a great deal of fun. I don't know. I'm sure there are people out there who enjoy the Entosis warfare side of it, but I find it all to be.
That's kind of where Brave's winning the PR campaign right there.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah. Absolutely. And Brave Little Toasters just sets itself up so nicely.
It's
you know.
just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And plus you can tell that the heroic story of the little new bro with his rookie ship going in and toasting something, and you know, it's all the rest of it. There's a nice narrative behind it. But I think like at this stage, it's what everyone in leadership has said when talking to their own troops through the various kind of, you know, mediums that they use, which is that it's going to be a long war, that Delve is far more fortified and a much tougher nut to crack, and like, you know, really nothing has been like, you know, it's just like scratches on the surface at the moment.
Yeah.
So mostly it's just been a PR war, which has been all right, to be honest. I don't know if either of you guys had a read through Asher's wall of text on Reddit the other day. He wrote a very long speech about, you know, why the goons are the good guys, in quotes.
No, I got a quick read through on it. Did you? Or
I had a read through it, and you know, it's as with pretty much all things associated with the goons right now. It's like, yes, you've made some very good points, and you've clearly had some very good experiences, but also you are part of the goons who have been, you know, really quite a negative force in the game over many years. Have kind of backed systems which have actively encouraged the growing of these massive power blocks and the kind of the crushing of the smaller guys, and really kind of like all of these self-interested, you know, CSM candidates who are just voted in by their own power block to push their own agendas. And it's like, you know, there are elements to all of it where it's just like, this is just spin and this is just PR.
Yeah.
But there was some shit that PGL said during his little Twitch speech, which I actually completely agree with, which is that if you join this game and you go straight into goons, then you are going to get a really bad impression of what this game should be, because the structure and the things expected from the people in Goon Swarm and just the general tone of the guys in Goon Swarm is not a pleasant place to be. Like it's just not. And you know, a lot of people are going to be put off by this and should experience other things. And you know, so for all the spin there is, I think there is some core truth there, that there are definitely aspects of Goon culture which are really just not conducive to this being a healthy game.
And is that like, I mean, coming from PJL, you know, being in test and everything, is that saying like the discrepancy between other like null blocks and goons in particular, like cultural differences between any other block and goons are such that if you join goons in particular, it would be weird? Or is that like a broad-based thing that he's saying, like, they built this culture of like the current null block? model.
I mean,
I don't know if
think
that was like the subtlety
yeah,
behind it.
possibly, and we could be reading too many things into this. As,
That's true.
You know,
It is
I'm very
BGL.
guilty of doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might literally just be like what he fucking said on the surface is exactly what he means.
Yeah.
But you know, I certainly think that the current culture that has formed all of these blocks that we now know, like Legacy and PanFam and Goons, you know, and the newer guys with, you know, Frat and Mango, and you know, this need to become, and especially Brave. I would actually argue that Brave has been one of the organizations that have been hurt the most by this.
Oh yeah,
It's
obviously
this
that's why we
need
left. Yeah.
to grow and become like a serious super capital power and hold a bunch of SOV and recruit a bunch of players and keep the machine grinding. It's essentially kind of has overtaken so many aspects of what the Eve game should be, where it's like your focus is no longer on fun per hour and blowing up spaceships and you know, having little grudges against people and fighting around the world, you know, Russell Crowe style. And now it's this game of worry where you have to keep your super capital fleet intact. You have to have your alliances. You have to have your coalitions. You got to have your blues. You got to have your friends. You got to have your rent coming in. You got to have your mines going out. You got to keep recruiting. You got to keep churning through because people unsub. So you got to get more people in. And it's turned it into this weird pseudo business where the focus is no longer on fun per hour and blowing up ships. It's the focus is on kind of, you know, people who have invested far too much time and energy and effort into in transient things in this, the things that actually aren't real, that are entirely player generated.
Gotcha.
And it stops being a video game at that point, and it just, you know, we go back to this like it's just a life simulator. But anyway, so yeah, I do think that like the way that Goons have impacted the culture in the game during the time that they've existed certainly has not been a positive influence. Like if you look at all of the kind of the changes their CSM members pushed for, and the ones that ended up coming into the game and what it actually did, like, you know, the mass mining changes, the productivity of Delve, the kind of, you know, all of these things. You know, yeah, I could certainly say that. You know, yeah, I would much rather have seen the game go a different direction, and I still have hopes that it will do. So, you know, who knows? At the end of this war, if it all falls apart, and I hope it does, I hope the end of this war is Delph falls, the Goons are evicted to nullsec or something, and then all members of the current happy coalition immediately go to war and backstab each other.
Oh yeah,
it just kicks off a massive red donut wide brawl where we're just everyone's at war with everybody else. It's just fun to be had. There's spaceships exploding. It's great. It's great for everybody.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bit of a rant, but yeah.
No, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's
you
a good
know,
rant.
it's, you know, it echoes the feelings of everybody else that's listening to it, though. Like everyone's like, you know, we hear all this herf blurf, and like, you know, Asher does have some good points. That like culturally there has been like shifts towards the positive, I think, in contemporary Goons versus like 2018 even. But that doesn't belie everything that's been done in the past. And Eve is a game of permanence, so everything that has happened in the past still matters, and that I think is the overwhelming sentiment felt from the majority of the player base outside of it, like us.
Yeah. This is also Asher, who's been, what, like kind of AFK on and off for how long now?
I thought he's been doing a bunch of stuff. I don't know.
Now he's not, but like before the war, he was kind of AFK, I thought. It's like, okay, well, I appreciate that you have
I can't get mad at anyone for that. You know, Eve is a game that you play sometimes, but you never really quit.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess that's true. So, have either one of you, I actually know the answer to this question, have either one of you taken part in the 2v2s?
Oh, no, I didn't. I was gone that weekend.
I don't know why I asked the question. I know the answer to the question. I should have said,
well, that's fair.
No, GP2s. Like,
yeah, right. You know, us UCR.
Yeah. So like, I was trying. I did. I didn't do the battle cruiser. I haven't done the battle cruiser one. I don't know if the event is over yet for it or not. But I did the free for all destroyers. A few of those. I did the 2v2 cruisers. I didn't do the 3v3 slicers. So what we kind of found in this was that there were some people who were gaming the system, and there's been a Reddit post about it recently, and I find it to be, I don't know the word. It bothers me. It bothers me that there's people out there who are like decent pilots, right?
Oh, yeah.
but who are
They're
going-
gaming the system.
right, who are
Like
going out
Cable
of
and
their way.
Suetonia and like, yeah.
Yeah, Cable is a good pilot. Don't get me wrong, but Cable
Yeah.
would go into some of those free for alls, and he would try his best to like politic with everyone in the room before they picked a target, and then he would pick a target and go for it. I know that there's been like, they confirmed that like Suetonia was trying to farm wins with alts, where
Yeah.
he was like trying to queue his alts up in those rooms.
See, now I might draw a line between those two courses of action, right?
I would agree.
If you go in there and you try to influence the battle using local chat, and you don't know the guys and they don't know you, and you just try to get them to like, I mean, that's kind of like, that's a little bit psyops, but it's basically fine, right? In that, it's still a fair fight. They can choose not to listen to you. They can all gang up on you the moment you say anything. It's still a roll of the dice. And if you can convince them to do that more often than you can't, then I'd say you're using you're using some kind of combat advantage, and bravo to you. I think if you're deliberately queuing up against your own alt just to boost your rating, then you're a fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
Let's splice that a little bit similar to that. Yeah, because I mean, how many fights have we played with local, especially once we're now unaligned with anybody? Like, half the battle is just chatting with people in local and causing a ruckus.
So
Yeah.
So there's no MMR system in this current
Yeah.
format, right?
Yeah.
So it asks the question, like, should there be an MMR system, or should the current leaderboard, the way that the rankings work, just work based off wins alone? I don't know. What do you guys think?
There needs to be MMR because it's this is the thing.
I
CTP,
think
I'm
a few
sure,
times, though, like,
didn't know how successful this was going to be.
that's fair. Okay.
At this stage, I think they can probably say, hey, this is actually pretty successful. People seem to like it. There's been a lot of talk about it. There's definitely been a lot of ships dying in there. Like I know at least a few guys who the only Ezekiel activity they have in the past month is just by doing these things. They've been absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
So I think now that it is a success, now's the point where you start introducing the kind of systems that you would see in pretty much any other competitive game, which stop this kind of match fixing from happening. And like the introduction of MMR would immediately fix that, because it's like you can queue up against your alts a couple of times, but then you're going to go up in ranks, they're going to go down, you'll never see them again. So that would immediately kind of stop all of that scumbagging from happening, and then a lot less kind of maintenance needs to be paid, because then it is just about, you go in there, if you can influence it through chat, fair enough. If they find that that's actually pretty nonsense as well, you can just remove local chat inside the arenas. I mean, again, these are very simple kind of problems for CCP to fix. The MMR thing's probably a fair bit harder, but they've got some cash. I'm sure they can hire someone who's worked on Counter-Strike or something like that, and get them in and make them a little kind of like MMR system.
Yeah. Apparently they just hired a new game designer this week.
Yeah, was it Star Wars: The Old Republic? One of the guys from that.
I think that's
right.
it.
Yeah.
All right,
You would be
well,
the guy
fair
to-
enough.
You used to know this world. I feel like that's your
Yeah.
special area.
Yeah, I mean, as with all of those kind of MMOs, they all have it's like World of Warcraft but problem,
Right.
Yeah.
where Star Wars: The Old Republic, where it basically was World of Warcraft but with a Star Wars skin on it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just kind of yet more in the line of Star Wars cash grab nonsense, and this was in the pre-Disney era, so God knows what they're planning at the moment for it. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't know what the specifics of his job were. There were certainly aspects of that game that were done extremely well, and this is the other thing in game development: hiring from outside of the guys that are already in your job pool is a great idea. You want to bring people in from other aspects. You want to bring in guys who've been making MMOs, but like WoW clones or whatever it is. You want to get guys from first-person shooters. You want to get guys who have been making like 2D puzzle games.
Yeah.
Like imagine for a second. This has bugged me for ages. Imagine if the guys who made Factorio got hired to do the planetary interaction in EVE Online.
Oh,
Just wrap your mind around how good that would be. Like, this is
Yeah.
what they could do with these systems. Like, you could have guys who only log on to play the planetary interaction. They're really good at it. They've got these amazing factories built with all these incredible transport systems and refineries and stuff. And they just generate a whole bunch of income just doing that. And it's super fun to do. And it's the same with so many of the little mini games in EVE Online. And it's one of these. And again, I'm ranting off topic a little bit again here.
Oh, this is a fun topic. I like this.
But it's definitely from a game design point of view, there are a bunch of choices that are made in EVE Online, like ratting and mining and a lot of the kind of the staple incomes, which are almost intentionally, willfully boring to do. And I find it so unnecessary. Like, you could spice up mining so much more. You really could.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if you look at a game like Elite Dangerous,
yeah, it's fun to mine.
mining in that game is actually super fun. It's very engaged. Like, you know, you don't have to have it looking or sounding as incredible as that game, because obviously they can pay far more attention to kind of like the close-ups,
Yeah.
because it's a very different kind of game. But, you know, the whole mini game side of it, the idea of like looking for weaknesses in the rocks, cracking it open with charges, getting the stuff out from inside the rock, you know, this is all like easily implementable in like just a little kind of UI screen. So the more CCP go outside of their current talent pool for ideas and for new devs, then the stronger they're going to be as a company and the more fun a game we get at the end of it. So keep at it, CCP. That's a great plan. Keep hiring from outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, and especially in development too. Like, you're so beholden to like whatever model that you're operating under, like kind of like a philosophical model or like economic model. Like, there's a lot of assumptions that become implicit that aren't necessarily implicit if you work within the same team for a longer period of time. And then having somebody from the outside can like circumvent that model and like question the basis of your underlying assumption in the first place. That's a weird way of saying that. That's a little heavy, but like,
No.
you know what I'm talking
It's
about.
spot
Like,
on. Yeah,
yeah,
it's spot on.
like,
It's very true.
yeah. I don't know. I'm an academic right now, so that's my life.
I have a first class degree in video game design, so
There we go.
We
Yeah.
can really wax lyrical about this nonsense.
Oh, heck yeah.
I think that should wrap it up for us now, though. We talked about pretty much everything we wanted to talk about. You guys have anything else?
Yeah, I don't really think so. Yeah, no, pretty good.
Cool. All right. Well, that wraps it up for episode 11. Thank you all for tuning in. I'd like to thank my guest and co-host. And
It's an honor and a privilege, as always.
as always.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you guys. We will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening.